The dark truth about helping the wrong people. Let me tell you something that might hurt. Sometimes, the reason you feel drained is because you're helping the wrong people. Not strangers, not enemies. The wrong people. You know the feeling. You answer the late-night call. You give advice. You lend money. You show up. Again and again. But when you need support, silence. And you tell yourself, it's okay, I'm just a good person. But here's the dark truth. Being helpful without boundaries is not kindness. It's self-abandonment. And most people don't realize they're doing it. Let's talk about why. When you were younger, you probably learned that helping equals love. Maybe you had to be the responsible one, the calm one, the fixer. Maybe when things got chaotic, you stepped in. You solved problems. You kept the peace. You stayed quiet so others could feel comfortable. And somewhere along the way, your brain connected two ideas. If I help, I'm valued. If I'm needed, I won't be rejected. That belief feels noble, but it can become dangerous. Because not everyone who asks for help wants to grow. Some people want a crutch. Some want attention. Some want control. Some want someone to blame when things fall apart. And if you're not careful, you become the emotional storage unit for people who refuse to carry their own weight. You become the strong one. But strength without boundaries turns into exhaustion. Let's get real. Think about that friend who always has drama. Every week, a new crisis, a new relationship problem, a new job issue, a new betrayal. They call you. You listen. You give thoughtful advice. They say, "You're the only one who understands me." That feels good. It feels important. But what happens next? They ignore your advice. They repeat the same mistake. They call again. And the cycle continues. This is not friendship. This is emotional dependency. And here's the part most people miss. When you constantly rescue someone, you quietly teach them that they don't need to grow. You become the solution, so they never have to become one. That's not kindness, that's enabling. Now let's talk about emotional control. Emotionally strong people do not rush to fix everything. They pause, they observe, they ask themselves one simple question. Is this my responsibility? Not, can I help? But, is this mine to carry? That one shift changes everything. Because just because you can help doesn't mean you should. Helping the wrong person at the wrong time often costs you your peace. And peace is expensive. Let's look at another situation. You're at work. There's a coworker who always falls behind, misses deadlines, blames others. You step in. You stay late. You cover for them. You explain their mistakes to the boss. At first, they thank you. Then they expect you. Then they depend on you. And eventually, they resent you. Why? Because when you quietly take control, you highlight their weakness. People don't always love the person who saves them. Sometimes they hate the mirror you become. And here's the psychological truth. When someone avoids responsibility and you step in, you interrupt the natural consequences that would have forced them to change. Without consequences, there is no growth, so they stay the same. And you grow tired. Helping the wrong people slowly damages your self-respect. Not in one big moment, but in small ones. You cancel your plans. You swallow your opinion. You give money you can't afford to lose. You say yes when your body is screaming no. And every time you ignore that inner voice, your confidence shrinks a little. Confidence is not loud. It's alignment. It's when your actions match your values. When you help someone out of guilt, fear, or the need to be liked, you move out of alignment. And your nervous system feels it. That's why you feel tired after certain conversations. That's why you feel heavy around certain people. Your body knows what your mind is trying to justify. There's another layer to this. Silence. Silence is power. But many people are afraid of it. When someone comes to you with a problem and you immediately respond, you take control of the emotional energy. But when you pause, when you sit quietly, when you let them feel their own discomfort, something interesting happens. They start thinking. They start solving. They start taking responsibility. Silence creates space, and space forces growth. But if you always fill that space with advice, money, reassurance, and solutions, they never face themselves. You become their escape, and you lose your authority. Calm people understand this. They don't jump in emotionally. They don't panic. They don't over-explain. They let people reveal who they are through patterns, not promises. Patterns. Now, let's talk about social power. The person who is always available is rarely respected. The person who is selectively available is valued. It's human psychology. When something feels scarce, it feels important. When something feels endless, it feels ordinary. If you answer every call, solve every issue, and tolerate every excuse, you lower your perceived value. Not because you're weak, but because you show that your time has no boundaries. Power isn't about control. It's about restraint. It's knowing you can help, but choosing wisely when to do so. Here's a hard truth. Some people don't want solutions. They want sympathy. They want someone to agree that life is unfair. They want comfort, not change. And if you are growth-oriented, that will drain you. Because you are investing energy into a system that refuses to evolve. You cannot outwork someone's laziness. You cannot outlove someone's self-sabotage. You cannot outhelp someone's refusal to take responsibility. At some point, wisdom means stepping back. Not with anger, not with drama, but with clarity. Let me give you a different image. Imagine you're holding a rope. On the other end is someone hanging off a cliff. You pull, you strain, you sweat. You're doing everything you can to lift them. But they're not climbing. They're not trying. They're just hanging. And slowly, you're slipping too. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is let them feel the edge, not to punish them, but to wake them up. People change when pain becomes louder than comfort. If you keep softening the pain, they will stay asleep. Now, this doesn't mean you become cold. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you become intentional. Before helping, ask yourself, are they trying? Are they accountable? Have they shown effort? Support multiplies effort. It should not replace it. If someone is actively working, struggling, learning, and falling forward, that's different. That's growth. But if someone repeats the same mistake without reflection, that's a pattern. And patterns tell the truth. Emotionally mature people understand something powerful. You can love someone and still say no. You can care and still step back. You can wish them well without sacrificing yourself. Boundaries are not walls. They are filters. They separate those who respect you from those who use you. And when you finally start setting boundaries, something interesting happens. Some people disappear. That's not loss. That's clarity. The people who only valued your usefulness will leave. The people who value you will adjust. There's also a deeper fear behind overhelping. Rejection. If I stop helping, will they leave? If I say no, will they be upset? If I don't rescue them, will they think I'm selfish? Here's the calm answer. Yes, some will. And that's okay. Because the people who only stay when you overextend yourself are not loyal. They are comfortable. Real connection survives honesty. It does not depend on sacrifice. The strongest people I've met have one quiet habit. They do not explain themselves excessively. They do not defend their boundaries with long speeches. They simply say, I can't help with that. Or, I'm not available, and they let the silence sit. No guilt, no drama, no over-justifying. That's emotional control. That's social power. Because when you over-explain, you signal doubt. When you state calmly, you signal certainty. Certainty is magnetic. You don't lose people by setting boundaries. You lose illusions. And illusions are heavy. When you stop helping the wrong people, you free up energy. Energy for your goals. Energy for your health. Energy for the relationships that are mutual. And you'll notice something else. The right people don't demand constant rescue. They appreciate support. They reciprocate. They grow. Helping them feels energizing, not draining. That's the difference. Let's bring this home. Think about one person in your life right now. Someone who leaves you tired. Someone who only calls when they need something. Someone who repeats the same chaos. Now ask yourself, what would happen if I stopped fixing? If I stopped explaining? If I stopped rescuing? There will be discomfort. But on the other side of that discomfort is respect. From them. And from yourself. Because self-respect is built every time you choose alignment over approval. Here's the subtle realization. You are not responsible for saving adults from the consequences of their own choices. You are responsible for protecting your peace. When you help the right people from a place of strength, with clear boundaries, your support becomes powerful. When you help the wrong people from fear or guilt, your support becomes self-destruction. Choose wisely. Not everyone who struggles needs your hands. Some need your silence. Some need your distance. And some need to fall before they learn to stand. If this message felt uncomfortable, good. Growth usually does. And if you're ready to build quiet confidence, emotional control, and real social power, stay close. Subscribe. And learn to protect your energy like it's sacred. Because it is.